Let's get more on that huge news on the new three-way defence deal with the US, UK and Australia. We're joined by Peter Jennings, who's the Executive Director of the Australian Strategic Policy Institute. Good morning, Peter.
Hi, Lisa.
Very big morning indeed. What's your initial take on this new deal?
Surprise. This is something that has been negotiated very quickly and has obviously been kept quiet in Canberra. I've been a person that's advocated for Australia to have nuclear-powered submarines for well over a decade, so I welcome it. The irony is that when we chose a French-designed submarine a few years ago, we actually took a nuclear-powered submarine and have been spending millions of dollars turning it into a diesel submarine. So we appear to be walking away from that, Lisa. There's so many details to work out, and I think the most important one will be one around timing. How quickly can we do this? How much more time does this add to the arrival of new submarines for the Australian Navy? These are some of the things that I think we need to obviously work through. But in the broad, a new trilateral relationship, Australia, UK, US, a nuclear-propelled Navy for the Australian Navy. These are big and, I think, important and necessary developments.
Absolutely significant. We were talking to Zach Cooper earlier this morning. He was in the Pentagon, the White House, under the George W. administration. He was saying that the US needs Australia to do more in the region because the US has been stretched over the years. What do you think the expectation is going to be from the US in exchange for getting this very tightly held information to build a nuclear sub?
Well, I would say in past years that the US would never have opened the doors to their nuclear technology to a country like Australia. So this reflects a big change. And as Joe Biden said, frankly, it's all about China. So America's first expectation of Australia is that we will do more heavy lifting of our own. I think we now have to expect our defence budget is going to grow significantly beyond its current levels of about 2% of gross national product. We might be thinking about 3% or 4%, Lisa, in order to be able to sustain a project of this scale. And America is going to be looking to Australia to play a leading role in this part of the world, stabilising the Pacific Islands region, Southeast Asia. In other words, the price for a closer American relationship is that we're going to have to do much more for our own interests in terms of defence, not just ride on America's coattails and save the money. And I think that message has been very clear from Joe Biden this morning.
We're already getting lots of comments coming in from viewers, Peter, concerned that this is a further provocation of China.
We should call the first submarine in this new category the Xi Jinping, because no person is more responsible for Australia going down this track than the current leader of the Chinese Communist Party. Lisa, the provocation is all from China. It was about their takeover of the South China Sea, their aggressive bullying of Australia over the last few years in terms of economic coercion, their intimidation of Japan and Taiwan. These are the factors, not Australia's defence policy, which is changing the balance of power in the Indo-Pacific region. And it's not surprising that the countries of the Indo-Pacific, including the United States, now feels that there has to be some response. So it's definitely all about China, but I'd put it to you that the provocateurs in this matter are the Chinese Communist Party. It's not how Australia is behaving in the Indo-Pacific.
So did Australia have any choice other than to go down this road to take on the nuclear-powered submarine path? Because there will be people who will be questioning this step and whether it further opens the door to other nuclear enterprises.
There've been multiple points at which Australia could have done things differently. We could have elected to go down the path of nuclear propulsion with the French design that we selected half a dozen years ago. We could have had a more open discussion with the Australian population about what's going on in our region, instead of failing to actually publicly acknowledge what the problem has been. But that's all in the past now, Lisa, that we have to move forward from where we're at. And I think the arrival of a new, strong alliance-like relationship, a promise to have genuine sharing around technology and military capability, that's the best thing that we can do now to try to keep the region peaceful. The worst thing we could do would be to continue on our current course, which clearly is not deterring Chinese bad behaviour. So I think these are necessary moves. They're big moves. They're going to take a lot of thinking through, but this is the right response to dealing with, the much more difficult strategic environment we're facing in our part of the world.
Peter Jennings, always terrific to have your analysis. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lisa.